Hey everyone, my name is Sierra, and I'm so glad you joined us today for Small Group. Before we jump into today's lesson, we're going to begin with what we call our end time. This is when we look inward toward each other to connect and build our community. Every time we meet, we follow 3 steps. In, getting to know one another. Up, learning from God. And out, putting it into action. We'll start with a simple question to help us get to know each other better. There are no right or wrong answers, just a chance to connect with your leaders and friends. So go ahead and share your answers briefly, and then we'll move on. Most of us don't like surprises, at least not the kind that disrupt our lives. We like plans, predictability, and knowing what comes next. But sooner or later, life hands us something we didn't expect. A loss, an illness, a broken relationship, a family conflict, or a future that suddenly feels uncertain. When that happens, fear creeps in, and our instinct is to grab for control, anything that makes us feel safer again. That's why the story of Jesus calming the storm feels so relatable. In Mark 4:35 through 41, the disciples are doing exactly what Jesus asked, getting into a boat and crossing the sea. They didn't do anything wrong, and yet a violent storm comes out of nowhere. Waves crash into the boat, water fills it, and they're convinced this is how they die. Meanwhile, Jesus is asleep. Their question to him is raw and honest. "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" That question reveals something deeper than the fear of the storm. It reveals fear that Jesus might be present and powerful, but what if he's not paying attention? Or even worse, what if he doesn't care? And if we're honest, many of us have asked some version of that question too. Jesus wakes up, speaks to the wind and the waves. "Quiet, be still," and everything goes calm. The storm obeys him instantly. But what's surprising is the disciples' reaction. They aren't relieved. They aren't celebrating. Scripture says they are terrified. They ask, "Who is this?" Even the wind and the waves obey him. This is the moment that the disciples realized they weren't just with a teacher or miracle worker. They were in the presence of someone far more powerful and unpredictable than they expected, someone they could not control. And the story doesn't stop there. When they reach the other side of the sea, Jesus encounters a man possessed by many demons. This man, against his will, spends most of his days running around naked, hurting himself, and living in pain and isolation. Then Mark tells us that Jesus completely heals him of this possession. And right after that, the man is healed, clothed, and in his right mind. This is a miracle on every level. And again, the response is unexpected. Something good has happened, but the townspeople are afraid, not of the demons, but of Jesus. Why? Because this healing came with a cost. A herd of pigs. Someone's livelihood was lost in the process. And instead of rejoicing, the people asked Jesus to leave. That moment exposes something uncomfortable. Sometimes we want Jesus to save us, just not if it disrupts our comfort, security, or control. We want a version of salvation that fixes our problems without costing us anything. But Jesus never offered a cost-free kind of following. Later, Jesus would say plainly, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." Following Jesus isn't about managing him or using him to calm every storm on our terms. It's about trusting who he is, even when we don't know what he's going to do next. The disciples stayed with Jesus because they began to understand something crucial, not just his power, but his goodness. The townspeople focused on what his presence might cost them. The disciples focused on who he was. This is where the Bible talks about the fear of the Lord. Proverbs says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." This isn't the kind of fear that makes us run away. It's the kind of respect that recognizes we are dealing with someone we cannot control, but can trust. Jesus is not a vending machine, storm insurance, or backup plan. He is the Son of God, powerful, holy, loving, and good. And learning from God in this story means shifting the question from what will Jesus do to who is Jesus. When we know who he is, we can trust him, even in storms, even when following him costs us more than we expect. So let's take a break right here and talk to our small groups about what we've learned, and then we'll move on. So what does this look like in real life? How do we live this out when storms hit? Control slips away and following Jesus looks like it might cost us too much. First, name where you're trying to control instead of trust. Control often disguises itself as responsibility or planning or being realistic. But deep down, control says, I will follow Jesus as long as I stay in charge. This week, ask yourself, where am I trying to manage my life instead of trusting God with it? Is it a relationship, your future, your reputation, your finances, or your habits? Living this out starts with honesty. Jesus can handle your real fears, not your polished ones. Second, shift your prayers from fix this to form me. There is nothing wrong with asking Jesus to calm the storm. The disciples did, but don't stop there. Begin praying, Jesus, if this doesn't go the way I'm hoping, help me trust that it will be okay. Instead of only asking for certainty, ask for faith. Instead of control, ask for courage. Instead of escape, ask for change. Sometimes Jesus will change the storm. Other times, he uses the storm to change us. Third, practice costly obedience in small, real ways. Following Jesus usually doesn't start with a huge sacrifice. It starts with small deaths to yourself. Apologizing first when you want to be right. Letting go of a habit you know is hurting you. Being honest about something you've been hiding. Choosing generosity when it feels uncomfortable. Obeying even when you don't see the payoff yet. These moments feel risky because they are, but they are also where trust grows. Fourth, stay close to Jesus even when you don't understand him. The disciples didn't always know what Jesus would do, but they knew they wanted to be with him. When fear pushes you to pull away, choose proximity instead. Stay in scripture. Stay in community. Keep praying, even if your prayers are messy and confused. Lastly, remember who he is when fear gets loud. Fear asks, what will this cost me? Faith asks, who is Jesus? He is the one who speaks to the storms. He is the one who restores what is broken. He is the one who gave his life for you. You may not always get certainty. You may not stay in control, but you will never be more alive than when you fully trust Jesus. So this week, when life isn't what you expected, don't first reach for control. Reach for Jesus and choose to trust who he is, even when the cost feels real. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.